Viewers, Supreme Court order to remove stray dogs from all localities of Delhi NCR and move them to designated shelters has sparked a massive debate. The Supreme Court has directed authorities to begin relocating stray dogs within 8 weeks. While the resident welfare associations have welcomed this order, animal lovers and activists argue that such an order cannot be implemented in such a short span and could worsen the human-dog conflict. Many of the politicians as well as celebrities have also weighed in. Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, called SC's directive a step back from decades of humane, science-backed policy. He said that the voiceless souls are not problems to be erased, calling a blanket ban removal of stray dogs cruel and short-sighted. Priyanka Gandhi echoed the same and said that Supreme Court order would result in horrendously inhumane treatment of street dogs. Former Union Minister and animal rights activist Menka Gandhi termed the court's judgment as one which was given in anger. But on the other hand, there are leaders like Vijay Goyal, a former Union Minister, who backed the Supreme Court's decision. Let's take a look at these reactions.
All it's going to do is to create a law and order situation. In the last 3 years, we have received over 3.5 lakh emails from people in Delhi saying, "Hum to ladenge." Are we going to have fighting in this peaceful, beautiful city? So this is not implementable.
पिछले 2 साल से आवारा कुत्तों के काटने के खिलाफ हम आंदोलन चला रहे हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये जो आदेश दिया है, ये जनहित के अंदर है और RWA ने इनका स्वागत किया। लगभग हर साल 60 लाख कुत्ते काटते हैं।
No country in the world has dogs in a free roaming. They must be neutered, vaccinated, and moved to shelters, or people must adopt. It can't be implemented in the short run, but this is definitely woken up all the stakeholders, and hopefully some middle ground will be reached.
ये सबसे बड़ी फेलियर दिल्ली म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन की और सारे उन म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशंस की है जिनकी जिम्मेदारी होती है कि जो डॉग्स हैं उनको न्यूटर सही समय पे करें। अभी उनको ये तो कह दिया है ये सारे कुत्तों को शेल्टर होम्स भेज दो। शेल्टर होम्स हैं कहाँ? बजट कहाँ है?
A slew of actors and comedians also reacted to Supreme Court's order. John Abraham has written an open letter to the Chief Justice of India requesting a review of the Supreme Court's ruling. In his letter, John said that these are not strays but community dogs, very much Delhiites in their own right. Several other celebrities, including Janhvi Kapoor, Varun Dhawan, Chinmay Sripada, Raveena Tandon, Varun Grover, Veer Das have also come forward and criticized this order. With us is Anish Gawande, national spokesperson of the NCP-SP. We also have with us Shashank Shekhar Jha, who's lawyer of the Supreme Court. Shashank Shekhar Jha, you heard what the animal rights activists have to say. Menka Gandhi there in particular saying that you're going to have a bigger problem. We've seen in Surat how a similar mass culling of dogs led to a problem of rats, and that further led to plague, affecting tourism, affecting the image of the country. Do we want to repeat that mistake in the national capital is a question that she's asking.
Namaste Madhavji and my fellow panelists here. Madhavji, there are 3 aspects to this. Whenever someone tries to solve an issue in this country, there are hue and cry, and this is one of those issues. Now, the issue of stray dog in this country has not been a new one. We have seen n number of cases where people are being bitten by stray dogs, and many of them are also causing rabies to people which are uncurable. Now, my second point is that when Supreme Court has passed this order, if you read the detailed order, Honorable Supreme Court says that, government is supposed to create those places where these dogs will be placed and they will be shelter houses. Now, dog lovers are saying that, no, they will be killed, they will be slaughtered, etc. I don't know where they are coming from. And, comparing dogs with rats, eagle, sparrows, bats, parrot, cows, buffalo, etc. I don't know what. My point is that we have a problem with stray dogs. Supreme Court has passed an order. If you have problem with anything else, you deal with that in a separate manner. Why to link with this? And third aspect, Madhavji. Here Menka Ji was saying that, rat will increase if we remove dogs. I know, weird comparison. If there will be increase of rats, we will deal with it accordingly. But we cannot leave the dog at the mercy of the rat. Dogs, if it is on street,
it's part of the larger ecosystem. That's our argument. Anyway, let me bring in Anish. Anish is smiling. Yes. Anish, your response to that. But the point, Anish, over here is, whatever said and done, there's a very, very serious practical problem. There are cases of dogs attacking young children, attacking senior citizens, and that's something that we cannot have as acceptable in any kind of civil society.
Madhav, this is the challenge between niyat and niti. नियत यहाँ ठीक है पर नीति खराब है। The reality is that this order is neither logical nor logistical. You are expecting an incompetent MCD, which could not sterilize these dogs for all of these years, to suddenly be competent enough to set up a shelter for every single stray dog in the NCR region. The first challenge to that is we don't know how many stray dogs there are in the NCR region. The last count was 10 years ago, much like the last census was 15 years ago. So how is an MCD, which doesn't know how many shelters to create, going to be able to create the number of shelters required to be able to send all of these dogs there within 8 weeks? So clearly the order is flawed on its logical aspect. Now, the other flaw is that it simply will not work. You just heard Maneka Gandhi Ji. The reality is you move these stray dogs out today and others will take their place. Others who are unvaccinated, others who are not sterilized. You will waste 15,000 crore rupees on this exercise only to have to repeat it again. The problem is that these are the kinds of magic wand solutions proposed by those who think that putting up hoardings in front of slums is going to end poverty. Similarly, sending all dogs into shelters is not going to cure rabies, right? The old age accepted solution which the MCD has failed at implementing is vaccinate, sterilize and return. This is a solution that has worked in many parts of the world and in our own country as well. It needs to be adopted. It's not easy. It's not the magic wand that people are looking for, especially when they're angry, but it's the only sustainable way forward. We've unfortunately abandoned our municipal bodies and expected them to be completely useless. And this is why we've landed here today. In Gurgaon, when dustbins are not emptied, we say Blinkit should do the job. When dogs are not sterilized, we say we should send them all to shelters. This is not a solution.
Shashank Shekhar Jha, it's a failure of a municipal corporation. That does not mean that we completely abandon programs that have been successfully implemented globally. Your response to Anish?
Madhavji, 2 points here, 2 aspects to this. One is rabies, dogs which causes rabies, and others dog biting in general. Now, dogs with rabies, obviously we failed as a society because we were unable to, cure those vaccination, give vaccination to every dog, etc. Like Anish, you were saying. But here is point number 2, which Supreme Court has carefully addressed. What Supreme Court is saying is that irrespective of a dog which is vaccinated or not, if it is a stray dog, you put it inside a shelter or home. So when you put a dog inside a shelter home, it will be easier for even MCD to put vaccination to them. My point is very simple. Not every dog causes rabies. This is an acceptable fact. But here the fear is not only due to rabies, but also due to dog bites. When you cross a path in a Delhi, anywhere in Delhi, there are dogs which are, hounding you, and then people like, children and older age are even more volatile. And this is not only about Delhi. If you go to any part of this country, the problem is similar. And that is why what we have seen yesterday is that Honorable High Court of Rajasthan has also passed similar order. So my wish is very simple, and it has also been supported by many other leaders like P. Chidambaram and Karti Chidambaram.
Let me bring in Anish on one important aspect. Anish, there is a sense, and this is very important because, it's a problem that affects the poorest of the poor in this country. And it is often those who are seen campaigning, those who are seen speaking out on social media, they belong to a certain class of society which are dubbed as the elite, celebrities, so on and so forth. The point is that it's very easy for them to pontificate, and a large number of people who've been impacted by these bites are saying that take these dogs or whichever animals they are, keep them at home as pets. Not populate the streets with them. Once again, not populate the streets with them where there could be threat for society at large.
Madhav, this is a deliberate mischaracterization that is unfortunately very prominent and prevalent. The dominant photo op that you get of somebody who's a dog rescuer or feeder is a South Delhi auntie who's feeding some pedigree poodles outside her posh gated colony. But the reality is a vast majority of stray dogs in this country are fed by communities. They're community dogs. They're in housing societies, in DDA flats and colonies, in slums, in chawls, where they're fed by communities that cannot keep the dogs in their homes, right? So this mischaracterization is unfortunate because the reality is you would not see the level of outrage that you're seeing if it was only the 1% of society that was outraging over this verdict, right? The elite in this country is the 1%. A lot more people are speaking out about this. So it's very important to disabuse ourselves of this notion. Now let me come to a more important point. You know, I'm very glad that the rabies argument has been put out the window, because the government of India's own statistics last year showed only 56 people have died of suspected rabies. 0 from Delhi.
Okay. Anish, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you because we're completely out of time. It's an issue of much debate. We've been debating this story since yesterday. I'm sure we'll continue to debate it in coming days. And we will have to see, of course, what happens in the courts, because a large number of citizens who are threatening to intervene in this entire case is concerned. Thanks so much, Anish, as well as Shashank, for joining us this evening.